Welcome everyone to this Natori video. I'll explain everything in a minute, but it is now 5:30. I've got my logs going, I've got my fire going, we're all sorted. Now, I've got it, as I say, it's 5:30, got my cup of tea, girlfriend bought me this. She bought me a bloody cup and says, "Morning, handsome, it's too big to drink from." It's like a bloody pint pot. Right, so today I'm going to be talking about this. Now, if you've not got it or you don't know what this channel's about, it's basically the Book of Samurai, Natori, real samurai teachings from real samurai back in the day. So, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I'm like, can't sleep. This always happens, 3 o'clock in the morning, like, what am I going to do? Don't know why. So then, I'm like, watch some YouTube, watch that. I thought, I'll go up to the top hill. So behind me, I live in a village that has got lights. It's permanently got lights outside for safety reasons. But I live, if you looked on a map, literally in a dark spot in Wales. So once I'm outside of the village, there's no light, just blackness. So I went outside the village. There's a hill behind me. It's called the Common, where all the sheep are allowed to graze. So everybody has grazing rights for those sheep. It's an ancient law with ancient ways through it. So it's called the Common, and this is called Common's Cock. So which means red common because it's got ferns on it. So basically, I decided to take my dog up there, the Rottweiler, and I've only got one at the minute. So the other one's at the yard. And up we go. I'm looking at the stars. It's absolutely crystal clear in one section. I did move up to the top of the hill where there was cloud cover, but it was crystal clear in one section. And what it reminded me of is in this. So there's a few things it reminded me of in this. There's an entire chapter in this book on nighttime, what to do at nighttime. And of course, because this is Natori, we have the Shoninki and how to move in ninja-like ways and at night time. So, first things first, I am thirsty. That's probably why I'm thinking of that. Hold on. Oh, hello, handsome. Morning, gorgeous. That's her cup. She's got morning, gorgeous. So basically, first things first is I always knew about finding the North Star and things like that, but I never really put it into practice. And I've done it maybe once or twice before, but genuinely I was up there in the dark and I found Ursa Major, followed it up, the North Star, there it is. Okay, north, east, south, west. I changed myself around as like south, okay, that's east, that's west, that's north, because we're doing it from a Chinese perspective, the Japanese perspective. Even in medieval Europe, they used to do that. So straight away, the teachings there, which we know are in the samurai book, about finding your way through the darkness, understanding the stars, understanding the landscape, Sun Tzu's Art of War for understanding the terrain, heaven and earth, all there. I'm there, I'm in the dark, I'm there, I can see the stars, I know where north is. Absolutely perfect. Also, Wales is a very dark, moody, broody place, and it's full of ancient folklore and legends. And Isui Sensei, the man who wrote the book, says things like he used to go to haunted places and he's never seen a ghost or a demon or anything like that, but he'd try and find them by going to haunted places. So it was refreshing for me to go into the darkness, into the murky bits. There's woods on either side, bits of marshland where I could sink in, not sink and die, but you know what I mean, sink up to my knees in. So there's things I can trip over, there's bushes that look like creatures. So excuse me, my hair's itching me. So basically it was very spooky, and of course it's covered in sort of misty, sort of, you know, on the floor, and it's one of those ways, go into a dark place where you're not quite sure, you can't see your footsteps, you're not sure where you're going, things can jump out from either side, and this idea of hardening yourself to the walking at night, to getting out at night. And one of my favourite things is Isui Sensei says in the Shoninki, he says, there's nothing quite like the feeling of walking in places at night, especially if you're forbidden to be there. And it just rings true, totally true, that you're sort of out there at night. And especially if you go into some farmer's field or there's sheep there and I've got my dog with me, you're totally not allowed. Obviously, I don't go in them fields because the dog would go mad. But the idea is like people are quite strict on where you can and can't go here. So you get that feeling of, am I allowed there? Can I go there? You know, it's everybody owns bits of land. So we've got the teaching of walking in haunted places and fox demons and all that. We've got understanding the sky and understanding the stars and finding north. And it even says straight away, when you get to somewhere new, find north, east, southwest straight away. If you know, that's your first thing you should do, is orientate yourself. And of course, then I started using the technique of bowing down and looking at the horizon. Now this is in the Shoninki. It says you get down and you look at the horizon, because what actually happens is as you're walking, you're looking down at the ground, or to find out where you're going, and it's black and it's dark and it's just the ground is black at night, but the sky is not. So that instead of looking down where you're going, you should look up to look at the contours. Now this is one of the most underrated teachings of Shinobi no Jutsu there's ever been. It's literally the one teaching you can use the minute you leave any sort of natural light. You can get there. Don't know if you can hear that. That's my sausages in the background and my fire going here. It's 6 o'clock in the morning by now. So it's a very nice morning. So you're out there and you put your head down and you can see, and you have to keep it. It's just not once to see, oh yeah, that's nice. You literally have to find your path. And another teaching straight out of here, again, Book of Samurai, is preordain your path. No, you've got to go so far this way, turn that way, go up there. Now I've done this specific walk with the dogs 1,000 times maybe. Realistically about 1,000 times, because I do it sometimes twice a day, and I've had the dogs here for 2 or 3 years, so it's been a long many, and of course with friends, so probably about 1,000 times I've done that trip. So I knew where I was going, but oh my god, did I know I could find the turn. I was like, I had to keep looking to the ground. I sort of knew my plan, where I was going. I could see the star, the North Star. I knew where south was, I knew back where the village was. So I was like, I'm moving along in the darkness, but it really brings home what Isui Sensei means by moving in the darkness. Really, you've got, and especially in haunted places, and this idea of getting there and finding out and not knowing if a bush is a man or checking if it's a fence. All these things that come from the book are outright there. Literally, you could tick them off as you go through. I've done that, I've done this, I've done this. And I enjoy going out into the wilderness and actually putting these teachings into practice. So that's really good. So the Jodai does as well. He loves it. He's out there all the time. So I'm here out there doing it. He's out there. We check floods, we check plains. We're always looking to sort of find out how it works in reality. So what I wanted to, I've kept my dungarees on because, well, basically, these are my waterproof dungarees because I sit down when I'm up there. I take a brew with me and sit down. And I just wanted to sort of say this is samurai training gear. I know everybody loves to get in the hakama and pucker little knots, and everybody's pressing the stuff and all that, and that's fine and well and good, and it should be correct. But that's like 10%, just to guess a percentage. That's like 10% of what you should be doing. The rest of it should be out there in the wind, in the rain, in the cold, starting fires out on the hills, looking at like the terrain, understanding choke points, understanding how to move troops through an area. This is samurai training. The samurais had wet weather gear, they had wet weather, basically wellies, they had wet weather wellies, they had hard wearing sandals, they had rain capes, they had stuff to cover their swords with. So this idea we all see our swords and this is neat and this bow and everything in here is like, get some covers on it because the rain, and if you need to fight in the rain and the cover's still on it, there's a specific way of fighting. Then of course we've got Musha Monogatari, and another scroll we translated not from Natori, but we know Isui Sensei read it, we know he read this, and basically it says all the wrappings are coming off, you're wet, you're rusted, things are falling to pieces, you've lost weight because you're on campaign, you might get dysentery and all that. That's samurai training. So I want to sort of bring home to you guys in Natori that it's okay to read the book and it's okay to go and be in the dojo and do some martial arts. But if you're not really putting this stuff into practice, obviously barring decapitation and all that, that what I mean is getting out there, getting wet, getting cold, getting hot, getting out in the snow, tracking, going out, and if you can, if you're on land, which allows you and the laws allow you, try and keep a sword with you. Or if not, learn what it's like to use the flint and tinder instead of the modern ones. By all means, start a fire with a modern one. There's no problems with that, as long as you get out there and do something. But then try and get it down to charcloth or get a donohi with you and all that. I myself am lacking it. I've only made the donohi a certain amount of times, and other people have made it a lot more than I have. So I need to catch up on that sort of stuff. But there you go, guys. That's my 5-6 o'clock in the morning chat to you. And the main thing I want to get across is that the teachings in Natori are amazing. They're real samurai teachings from a real samurai who really did this stuff. Most of it obviously didn't go to wars in the period of peace. and he's telling us exactly how to be a samurai, or how to train like a samurai. You can never really be a samurai, but how to train like a samurai. And starts here in book 1 with Heika Jodan, and he goes on to book 2, and then book 3 will be out, book 4, Shonin Ki, True Path of the Ninja. It's there. So do follow us, do get training. If you want to join us, go to Natori Ryu Hub and join us on our Facebook page and become a member and get training with us. All right, I'll leave it there, guys.